Playing the beloved Grim Fandango again is like seeing a skeleton get up and start walking around, which is exactly what Afterlife travel agent Manny Calavera does in this classic Day of the Dead-inspired point-and-click adventure. It's fantastic that this long-lost LucasArts relic is now available to play again, because it's an important piece of gaming history that's been hard to experience in the past 16 years. Just as Grim's story is no less engrossing and funny today than in 1998,
where do they get these guys? They don't qualify for anything good, so I can't sell anything good?
Its 3D graphics have held up surprisingly well. Grim's unique art direction means its low-polygon characters didn't need significant reworking to stand up in the bright light of the 2015 spotlight. You can see their improved detail and lighting by switching back and forth between new and original graphics on the fly. But notice how these still beautiful original pre-rendered backgrounds don't change at all? That's a sign of how well made they were. The greatest sign of age comes from the lack of true 16:9 aspect ratio. Yeah, a stretched option is available, but it looks awful. The most significant new feature is the developer commentary track.
How is he sweating without skin? It's so inaccurate. Try to get it really accurate with the punching. Left, left, right, right.
Which serves up stories and memories from over a half dozen key creators, including designer Tim Schafer. They're sprinkled liberally throughout the story, and they're only a button press away. And since the commentary almost never spoils puzzles, I highly recommend turning it on in the special features menu before you begin. Manny's 12-hour tale of spiritual redemption is split into 4 chapters, each representing a year. Each one, particularly the film noir-style Year 2 and its stellar jazzy soundtrack, is chock full of interesting locations, memorably funny characters, and bizarre items. Glottis, your netherworld demon sidekick whose sole reason to exist is to drive vehicles, is easily my favorite, particularly as his role evolves into piano player, lounge singer, and shipman. But even the archetype characters are well-written, well-acted, and generally interesting.
Manny, do you mind artist at work here, eh?
As I progressed, Grim reminded me that adventure games of yore expected a lot more from us than most games do today. That feels great, but one area that feels like a missed opportunity for modernization is that there's still no tutorial or hint system like we saw in the Monkey Island Special Edition games. As was the style of the 90s, you're simply thrown headfirst into the adventure, and any "how do I do that?" questions were answered by the thick instruction manual you were expected to read before you played. Here, you can check the button layout in the options screen, but you're given no other context for what you're actually supposed to do. If you're familiar with Telltale's modern adventures, you'll have a basic idea. But Grim's item-based puzzles are much deeper, more complex obstacles than the dialogue of Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us adventure gamers are used to nowadays. It's a lot to keep track of, and Grim Fandango won't help you out in any way, but at least you won't be fighting the controls, which feel completely natural on a gamepad. You'll either need a good memory or a notepad and a pen to keep tabs on your current goals. That's hardly a bad thing, but it can be a bit jarring for people experiencing Grim Fandango for the first time. If you really get stuck, at least you can turn to online help, like, say, IGN's Wiki Walkthrough, to get you past that spot and let you experience the rest of this great story. I say it's a 12-hour game, but of course, you'll only progress as fast as you can solve its puzzles. Most of your challenges make sense, but more often than not, there's something that requires you to dig into your gray matter a bit deeper. Sometimes there's a bizarre combination that doesn't make much logical sense. Frustration is inevitable, it's part of the genre, but when you finally figure out what you missed, it's incredibly rewarding.
Heart! Heart is good. Be good to heart. Don't tear out heart. Heart is good. Strong, beating, good heart. Hey, is that my car?
The passage of time has done little to diminish Grim Fandango's reputation as one of the finest adventure games ever made, and the fact that so little needed to be done to modernize it only reinforces its place as a classic of the genre. While it may seem punishing at times to modern gamers, remember that failure is impossible. I wish this new version had incorporated a hint system to make it more accessible to the new generation, but whether you've never played Grim Fandango before or you replay it every year and just want to dive into the remastered edition for the insightful developer commentary track, this is a reverent re-release whose few bygone-era warts are minimized by its timeless story. For more on all things Grim Fandango, you're already in the right place. IGN.